welcome to another movie reviews video. This video is a wrap up of everything that I saw in the Sunday to the Friday this week, just because I have been to a Marvel marathon. So if you're not into Marvel, this might not be the video for you. However, I wasn't into Marvel until I saw Avengers Infinity War, and then I realised that I had missed out on like 18 other movies, and so I endeavoured to see them all. Helpfully, Marvel put out a movie marathon that I could go and watch some of, which helps definitely in my endeavours. So I'm going to review the first 7 of those movies here, and then in 2 weeks time I'm going to review some of the others. This video, the movie reviews video, isn't going to be up next week, it will be up in 2 weeks time, so that is your prior warning. As always, I will leave timestamps in the description box below so that you can scroll to the video that scroll to the movie that you want to hear my thoughts on, if you don't want to hear my thoughts on all of them. So I believe the marathon goes in release order. Okay, so obviously I started with Iron Man. This was like my first movie and first kind of comeback to it. I just thought Robert Downey Jr. was like absolutely fantastic in this movie. I really disliked Gwyneth Paltrow in this film. I thought she was just really annoying and a bit of a kind of distraction from the action, and just, you know, spoiler for future reviews, but she doesn't grow on me at all as the Iron Man franchise continues. But yeah, I thought it was a really good start. It surprised me how much military was in this film. I kind of wasn't expecting that. Like, I knew from having watched Avengers Infinity War that Stark was a bit of a playboy kind of, you know, lad about town, but I didn't realise that it would, you know, his company had made weapons and that's where he'd made his fortune, so I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't sort of as keen on the scenes kind of set in the active war zone. I did prefer the scenes set where he was at home, but yeah, overall I kind of forgot going into it. I was like, right, okay, Marvel, I've not been into this before, but I'm going to do it. I kind of forgot going into it. These are massive, high-budget, blockbuster movies, and so they are going to look great on the screen. And this Marvel marathon is on the Imax screen, so they do look absolutely fantastic. Interestingly, as I've been watching and going along through time, I can see the development in that they're becoming more HD and becoming sort of, the action on the screen is almost like they had IMAX in mind. I know some of them were shot in IMAX, but the ones I've seen so far haven't been. I've seen a few of them in 3D as well, so I'll go on to talk about that. So yeah, I really enjoyed Iron Man, and I think it was a great start to the marathon, and I think it's a good start to the franchise. Like, if you had started at that point and then watched the movies throughout, I think, you know, they did it right. Then the second one I saw was Hulk. I was a little bit confused because obviously I'd seen Infinity War where Mark Ruffalo is Hulk, and this one had Edward Norton as Hulk, and I was like, I think Mark Ruffalo definitely is a better Hulk. Like, having seen him in a couple of other films as Hulk, I think he is definitely a better Hulk. Sorry, it's the Incredible Hulk, not Hulk. Hulk is a different film. I really enjoyed the different cameos in this film. Obviously, I know that Stan Lee has a cameo in all Marvel movies, and I have been able to spot him in every one so far. Didn't see him in Avengers Infinity War, but if he's definitely in that one, I am going to go back and watch it once I've watched all the others, because, you know, you have to do things in the right order. But yeah, I wasn't terribly taken with him as the Incredible Hulk. I wasn't terribly taken with him sort of in this film. Again, the woman in the film annoyed me. Liv Tyler just annoyed me in the film. I didn't like the way she was a supposed like university professor level scientist, but in other ways in the film she seems just really stupid, and I don't like the way that they did that. Like, I don't know if that's the director or just the way she chose to play the character. I was like, well, if you are this intelligent scientist woman, then you're not going to be saying and doing these things, so get off the screen now. I like really took an aversion to her. I liked the storyline. I felt like it had a sort of similar storyline to the first Iron Man movie, in that the whole kind of problem, as we would say in the book, the problem that they have to overcome is a genetic mutation that is bigger than the Hulk. So in Iron Man, we have the Iron Man that is built that is bigger than Iron Man, which he has to overcome. And then we have the genetic mutation that is bigger than the Hulk that he has to overcome. So yeah, I thought that, you know, this is obviously the trope that they're going to go down. That's fine. But yeah, I liked it. I didn't like it as much as Iron Man. Then next up in the line was Iron Man 2, which I definitely enjoyed. It was really nice to be back with this character, and back with a character that I knew that I liked and I enjoyed. Again, Gwyneth Paltrow annoyed me, but I liked the fact that we have things trying to be kind of cleaner and better for the world and better for the environment and better for the people. I like that kind of moral message behind what he's doing and what he starts doing, specifically in Iron Man 2. It's very similar to Iron Man 1. I thought having Mickey Rourke as the kind of baddie in this one was a really interesting casting choice. When he came on the screen, I was like, I know him, who is that? You know, that thing you do when you're like, who is that? I know who. And then I saw his hands, and it's when I saw his hands I was like, oh, those hands are in The Wrestler. That's Mickey Rourke. Which, yeah, was an interesting choice. But I thought he actually did a really good job, and I was reading up on some of the like training and research that he did for the role. I'm like, yeah, you know, he did that really well. And I thought the interactions between him and Iron Man were really interesting. Again, it follows that same trope of, well, if the technology gets stolen and we can build a sort of bigger and better, then what are we going to do about it? But it's almost comfortably predictable. You know, when you're reading one of the books that I like to read that you know is gonna have a happy ending, and it's predictable in that sense, but you don't mind because it's comfortably predictable. So that kind of trope is obviously one that they took in phase 1. I'm only commenting on phase 1, but yeah, it's comfortable and I quite liked it. Then the final one of that day was Thor, the first Thor film, which was in 3D, which I'm not a massive fan of. Anybody who wears glasses, how do you do the whole 3D thing? Because the glasses don't sit comfortably on my face. I get a load of glare between the two lenses, and sometimes it just makes me feel really sick. So I watched half of it with the glasses up here and just dealt with the slight blurriness on the screen and the scenes where it was obviously, this has been kind of designed with 3D in mind, put the glasses back on. For once, I didn't hate the women in this film. I liked Natalie Portman and I liked Kat Dennings' character in this. I liked both of their characters. I liked both of their acting jobs as well. I know Natalie Portman is in the second Thor film from the cover as well, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. I liked that this one was very different from the others, but still had that superhero aspect to it and that science behind it. I like the fact that science plays a big role. This one obviously didn't have as much of a military aspect to it, even though it still has different armies. I was really surprised to see some of the people in it that were in it. I never kind of look beforehand to see who's going to pop up in it, and then I'm like, oh, it's Anthony Hopkins, and oh, it's Natalie Portman. Like, but yeah, I thought that this one kind of made me laugh a little bit more than the others. There was some, Chris Hemsworth did some really funny moments. So I think maybe did this one have different writers? I liked the mythological aspect of it, and the fact that we have the book of Norse mythology to refer to in the film as well. So if you're a fan of Norse mythology but not necessarily a fan of Marvel, then I think you would still take quite a lot from this one. The costumes in this one as well, all the costumes in Asgard, all their costumes, oh, they were fabulous. They were just wonderful to see on screen. And I liked the sibling rivalry storyline, which I obviously knew was coming. I knew more about the storyline of Thor than I did about the storyline of the others, and I think it was nice to kind of end the day on something a little bit different. I think if I'd had that trope of yeah, I'm a superhero, but there's someone bigger than me who's got the same genetic mutation or used the same technology, then I think I would have been a bit bored by the end of the day. But it was nice that Thor was quite a different film to the others. And then on to day 2. The first film on day 2 was the first Captain America film, which I really enjoyed. I thought that, again, we've gone back to the military storyline, but it's really nice having Captain America, who is solely a good guy. He, even before he received his genetic mutation, he was a good guy and stood up for people, even though he was the little guy, and got himself beaten up for it. And as Captain America, he still stands up for people and sometimes puts himself in danger of getting beaten up for it. I thought that his development into Captain America, I kind of didn't see coming. The fact that it starts off a little bit corporate and then turns into something else. I love the fact that Stanley Tucci turns up in this film. I thought that was really interesting. And then the fact that we know that the bad guy in this film has the same genetic mutation, but his takes a very different turn. And again, the costumes have, you know, developed. I think the first 3 films we had a certain level of costumes, but then from Thor onwards the costumes have been fantastic. I've been really enjoying the costumes, and I thought that the acting in this film was very good as well. None of the women annoyed me, so that's nice. But yeah, I enjoy Captain America. It's a good guy fighting against the bad guy and doing it for the right reasons. And, you know, I expected to see him drinking his milk. It was almost that level of good guy superhero. But yeah, I really enjoyed that film, and it was a great way to start day 2 when I was feeling so tired from day 1. And then let me go back to my notes. Yes, the film after that was the Avengers film. So at the end of Captain America, at the end of the credits, we got the preview for the Avengers film, the kind of end scene, but it was the original one, so it still said coming May 2012, and I was like, well, I really hope it's actually coming in about 35 minutes, otherwise I'm a bit, you know, I'm like 6 years too late. But that teaser bit at the end of Captain America got me really excited for the Avengers, and I think I can see now why people get so excited for the Avengers movies. I was at Westfield, London, when they were having one of the premieres. It might have been the first premiere, or it might have been the second. They were having one of the premieres there, and oh my goodness, the crowd was so excited. Everyone was so excited. Everyone was dressed up, and I didn't get it. But having watched the Iron Man film and the Incredible Hulk film and the Thor film and the Captain America film, and then knowing that the characters that you enjoyed in all those films are going to be coming together and working together in one film, that's really quite exciting. It was like seeing Friends. But I could see some of the conflict coming as well, which was also exciting. Yeah, I like the idea of Avengers, and obviously I have seen Avengers Infinity War, so I know kind of how it all ends up. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I hadn't seen an awful lot of Hawkeye before, so that was interesting to see, because the last film that I saw Jeremy Renner in was Tag, so this is something completely different. I've heard him talk about it in interviews on talk shows and things like that. I thought Scarlett Johansson was just amazing. Like, I really enjoyed her in Iron Man 2, and it was great to see her back in this film, so I'm looking forward to the next Avengers film, which I'm seeing after I finish this video, because yeah, I really enjoy her character, and I like the fact that you get to see that interaction between Robert Downey Jr. and Mark Ruffalo going on as well. I liked Mark Ruffalo coming back as the Hulk, because yeah, I think he just does a really good take on it. It's harder to talk about this one because there's more spoilers in it, so I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was good, and I think the reason behind that is, yeah, seeing these characters that I've liked in the other films all come together on the screen. And then the last one I saw on Friday was Iron Man 3, which again, we're back to the Iron Man franchise, but this is coming off the back of what we saw in Avengers, because obviously Iron Man is also in Avengers. So it's interesting seeing Iron Man post Avengers, and I'm glad I saw it straight after, because I think that you definitely kind of appreciate the headspace that Tony Stark is in post Avengers, having just seen it and seen what went down in that film, and kind of, yeah, seeing the way Iron Man might be feeling as well. Again, the women in this film just annoyed me. But yeah, it was one of those where Guy Pearce came on the screen. I was like, I know him. He was in Neighbours. Who is he? And I couldn't work it out. I could totally see his character in Neighbours the whole way through, but I couldn't see like who he was. I had to wait until the credits. But that was interesting. Again, just lots of interesting cameos in this one. The actor change from Iron Man 1 to Iron Man 2 and 3, and they just don't acknowledge it. I'm like, okay, all right, this is a thing, but I prefer either actor. Either actor was good. I thought maybe a little bit more could have been done with the Iron Patriot or War Machine or whatever you want to call it character in Iron Man 2 to kind of bring it further into Iron Man 3. It seemed like he had a lot of screen time and a lot of storyline time in Iron Man 3 that he didn't have in Iron Man 2, but it kind of brought the whole thing into in Iron Man 1. I don't know, maybe they just cut it that way, they'd originally planned that, but yeah, the Iron Patriot character was bigger than I expected him to be. Not bigger physically, but he had a bigger role than I expected him to have, just because, yeah, I don't think the foundations had been laid for that character to have such a big role, but that was interesting. And again, going more towards the renewable energy and the helping the world and helping the president type storyline, I really enjoyed. Again, I thought just Robert Downey Jr. was fantastic. I'm really enjoying seeing him on the screen. I can't remember when I've enjoyed seeing him on the screen more, but kind of, you know, when he comes on, it feels like the screen lights up a little bit. He's got such a presence. It's so cool. And I love the idea that Gwyneth Paltrow scene, she's barefoot because she's obviously so much taller than him. I think his like trainer things probably have massive platforms in as well, but you know, I don't think they had to make the height difference the same. Like, obviously for filming reasons it is easier if characters are the same height, but you know, it's okay if a woman is taller than a man. That's all right. That is okay. Doesn't have to be the other way around. We're in the 21st century now. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm fairly positive towards the Marvel films so far. Not been loving the 3D again. Iron Man 3 and Avengers, I want to say, were in 3D as well. And the films I'm going to see today, I think, are both in 3D. But we'll cope with it. As I say, I spent a lot of time doing this with the 3D glasses because they just don't fit very well. I did find one cinema where the 3D glasses fit a little bit nicer, and I wish I'd kept them because yeah, it would have been nice to have those because these ones just aren't great. But yeah, I will be back with some more Marvel reviews and a couple of other film reviews in 2 weeks' time, just because I don't want to overload you with too much Marvel, and I have a couple of other films I'm planning to see, but as usual, Movie Pass has changed again, and so I'm more limited now to the movies that I can see. But I will still be keeping up these movie reviews videos because it's nice to sort of share my thoughts, because I do go on my own to these things, so it's nice to share my thoughts with someone other than my own head. I will be back with book videos this week. I have my August wrap up, my September TBR, and also a haul for you. No, an unboxing. No, I have a giveaway coming up. I have to think about what the week looks like. I have a giveaway coming up on Friday, so make sure you're subscribed so that that video lands right in your subscription feed and you don't miss out. Back in another 2 weeks with movie reviews for you. Timestamps are below, and thank you very much for watching. I will see you then.